All right, please be seated. All right, are we ready for your witnesses?
Yes.
I understand that you wish to call Miss Blanchard as your first witness.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, we will call Miss Blanchard as our first witness, all right? And as is agreed, we are going to have her seat
Yes.
before the jury, and we will go through. Hopefully, we'll be able to do it without all arrests. But if not, we are going to have to say it. But they won't see her walking because she's in distress. So to give this pleasure is here. All right, are we ready for the jury, gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Bring the jury, please. All right, please be seated. Okay, Mr. Perry, do you have a witness you wish to call?
15 minutes, your judge.
Miss Blanchard, will you raise your right hand?
I do.
Thank you.
Please tell us your name.
Gypsy.
And what do you go by?
Gypsy.
And Gypsy, could you speak up just a bit?
I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
How old are you?
27.
Where were you born?
Briceville, Louisiana.
Where were you living in the summer of 2015 in June of 2015?
Springfield, Missouri.
Do you remember the address?
I don't remember now, I'm sorry.
How long had you lived at that address in Springfield?
About 7 years.
And prior to that, where did you live?
Cycled Island, Louisiana.
And when did you move to Missouri?
In 2005.
And who did you move to Missouri with?
My mother,
And what was her name?
Claudia Blanchard.
Did she go by any other names?
Didi.
So if I say, did you know who I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Do you know Nicholas Goujon?
Yes, sir.
And when did you meet Nicholas Goujon?
In October of 2012.
How did you meet him?
On an only Christian dating website.
Do you remember the name of that site?
ChristianDatingForFree.com.
How old were you when you met Nick?
About 21.
In June of 2015, what did you consider your relationships to Nick to be? What kind of relationship?
We were boyfriend and girlfriend.
And when did you become boyfriend and girlfriend?
In October of 2012.
When did you first meet Nick in person?
In March of 2015.
So between October of 2012 and March of 2015, you hadn't actually met Nick in person?
That is correct.
What type of relationship did you have during that period of time?
Online relationship.
And by online, what do you mean?
Strictly communication through Facebook.
Any other ways other than Facebook?
Instant text, messaging, emails.
all by way of computer and the cell phones?
Yes, sir.
Did you send videos to each other?
Yes, sir.
Prior to March to prior to March of 15, when you indicated you met Mr. Bojan for the first time in person, had your mother met him?
No, sir.
Did she know he existed?
No, sir.
Why is it she didn't know?
It's because the relationship with my mother will never allow me to have a boyfriend
Why not?
because she controlled every aspect of my life.
Did you and Nick ever talk about the fact that you were not allowed today?
Yes.
How many times do you think?
I don't remember.
Did you and your mother ever have any discussions about whether you were ever going to be able to date?
Yes, sir.
Whether you were ever going to able to date?
We might have.
What did your mother say about your ability to date going forward?
She said that it will never happen, what the show never allow it.
What about marriage?
Yes,
Did you and Nick ever talk about marriage?
yes,
Did you and your mother ever discuss whether or not you'd be able to get married someday?
yes.
What did she tell you?
She said that she showed well it.
In June of 2015, were you in a wheelchair?
Yes,
Did Nick know you were in a wheelchair?
yes,
Why were you in a wheelchair in June of 2015?
because my mother forced me to be one.
Do you why you were forced to be in a wheelchair?
No, sir, she just forced me to be in one.
And how long you been in wheelchair since June of 2015?
Since probably I was about 8 years old.
Was there a time between when you first were put in a wheelchair and June of 2015 that you figured out that you really didn't need to be in a wheelchair?
Yes,
When was that?
I always knew that I don't need the wheelchair.
And how did you over?
I can walk.
Did you and your mother take a kind of advantage by you being in a wheelchair?
Yes, sir.
What kind of advantage did you obtain?
Attention, charity.
Financial money?
Yes, sir.
Did you obtain money as a result of being in the wheelchair?
Yes, sir.
Did you and Nick ever talk about the fact that you didn't need to be in a wheelchair?
Yes.
Did you ever talk to him about why you were required to be in a wheelchair?
Yes.
You tell the jury why you have bad money as a result of being in a wheelchair.
Because people feel sorry for me.
And they would to what?
What was the question again? I'm sorry?
I asked you why you obtained an invention for being in a wheelchair and you say people gave you money. And I think my next question was, why did you give your money?
Because they felt sorry for me, that believed the lie, they believed the fraud.
When did you tell Nick about the wheelchair, that you'd be in the wheelchair?
I think maybe a month or so after we meet.
Now, when did you tell Nick that you didn't need to be in a wheelchair?
A year into our relationship.
So if your relationship began in October of 2012, it would have been sometime in 2013 that you told him that you really didn't need to be in a wheelchair.
That is correct.
Were you ill during this period of time?
No, sir.
Did you ever tell Nick that you were ill or that you had an illness?
I told him yes, that I had illnesses.
Did you ever tell him that you really weren't ill?
Yes.
When did you tell him that?
The same time that I told him that I didn't need to be in the wheelchair.
And what illness did you believe you had?
Cancer, muscular dystrophy. I needed glasses. I needed hearing aids, seizure disorder, and I can't remember what else.
And when did you figure out that you weren't actually sick?
I started to piece things together when I was 19 years old. Then I didn't understand the full extent of how healthy I was until after I got arrested.
So even at the time, even as of June of 2015, you still believed you had some of the illness.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, did you ever run away?
Yes.
Did you run from your mother?
Yes, sir.
When did you did that?
In the spring of 2011.
Did you tell Nick about that?
Yes.
When did you tell Nick about that?
I don't remember the exact time.
Was it before your mother's murder?
Yes.
Did you ever consider running away again after you ran away in 2011?
Yes, but I knew that I would end badly.
What happened when you ran away? Tell us more about it.
I was in the middle of the night and I packed a small bag of stuff and my mother went to sleep. So I left the house and I met up with one of my friends
And where did you go?
to first Mercy Hospital in Springfield and then to this house.
And at some point, did your mother figure out where you were?
Yes,
And when was that?
4 hours later.
And what happened when your mother figured out where you were?
She took me back home. She smashed my computer and my cell phone, and she chained me to a bed for 2 weeks.
Did you ever tell Nick about that?
Yes,
The only time you ran away?
yes,
Did you ever receive any other physical abuse as a result of running away, or other than what you already told the jury?
yes, sir.
And what other abuse was that?
Kicking, punching, and starvation.
Did you tell Nick everything that happened between you and your mother during the course of your relationship with him?
Most, but not all.
All the stuff we've talked about, is stuff you actually did tell him,
Yes,
and stuff he knew as of June of 2015.
yes.
And when did you tell him these things? All at once or over a period of time?
over a period of time.
Beginning at what point in this relationship?
He must say one thing that my mother never allowed me to date, but I don't remember exactly when I told him every single little detail that was going on in my home life.
But you did tell him everything by the time of June of 2015?
Yes, sir.
I assume since you believed you'd be sick, you met regularly with doctors.
Yes, sir.
Did you also meet with social workers? Do you remember that?
No, sir, I don't remember.
Okay, and why didn't you tell your doctors that you really didn't think you needed to be in a wheelchair?
Judge, I will object to the relevance of that. That's not something to scold with. It's just something that the defendant will have.
Judge, I think it is relevant. It goes to it. It really goes to why this whole thing happened. The fact that I'm glad you're explaining it, but I really don't know what you're explaining on the record.
Yes,
Can we go back?
I'm going to allow it for the time being, unless I get too far afield of this thing. Do you need to hear the question again?
Yes, please.
Will you repeat it?
I'd be glad to. Okay. Why did you not tell the doctors that you knew you could walk or you didn't believe yourself to be ill during the time that you were doing this?
I didn't think that anyone would believe me. I thought they would eventually tell my mom, and that would make my home life even worse for me. I feared her more than I feared anyone else.
And where's your father during this time?
Luciana,
Did you ever talk to your father while you were in Missouri?
it's a complicated answer.
Did you ever speak to him on the phone?
I did, but my mother was always present.
And did you ever tell him what was going on?
No, sir.
You meet Nick for the first time in person in March of 2015. Is that correct?
Yes, dear.
And where did you meet him in person?
Springfield Movie Theater,
What movie?
Cinderella.
How it's easy you were able to meet with Nick in March of 2015?
I paid for his transportation and lodging to get there.
Why you paid for it?
I didn't think he'd have enough money.
And you say you meet him at the Cinderella movie. Was your mother present?
Yes,
And you say you meet this. And did you and Nick that talk at night?
yes.
And how did that work out?
It didn't go well at all. My mother hated him from the moment they met.
Did you guys watch the movie together?
Yes,
Did your relationship has changed you in any way that day?
yes.
How?
We go to see each other in person for the first time.
Did it become physical that night?
Yes,
You know what I mean by physical, don't you?
yes.
What do I mean?
We had sexual relations
In work?
in the bathroom stall in the men's bathroom.
What was the point of you and Nick meeting up during the Cinderella movie? Were you guys trying to do something?
Yes.
What?
Uh, I was trying to introduce him to my mom so my mother would allow me to date.
And you say that didn't go well?
No, sir.
No. Where did Nick live?
In Wisconsin with his mother.
And did you and Nick ever talk about any disabilities he may have?
Yes.
What disabilities did you understand him to have?
Asperger's syndrome.
Did you know what that was?
No, sir.
No, you indicate that you paid for this trip to Missouri by deck in 2015. What did you all pay for?
Um, I paid for the Greyhound bus tickets, and I paid for the hotel and for eating money.
And how did you pay for this? How did you get the money to Nick?
Um, I stole the money from my mother and I say it to him via the email.
You wouldn't mind speaking of just a bit it worked off?
All right.
I think you say you put on the mail.
Yes,
In what form was the money?
cash.
Do you know how much you sent me that time?
Um, mm, I don't know the exact amount, probably about 800.
And how would you get the money from? How do you steal the money from your mother?
He gave it a money punch. No, se me cae mi teléfono. Ah, bueno, ¿quién lo va a cortar? No lo sé.
Sí, sí, sí. What were your feelings for Nick in the spring of 2015?
I love him.
What is the point in this relationship that you consider yourself that is you and Nick to be more than just boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yes,
When was that?
we had plans to marry.
Any other plans for the future at that point?
Yes, I plan to have kids.
Did you do anything to prepare for having children with Nick?
Yes, sir.
What did you do?
Um, I stole baby clothes, things for a child.
Hmm. And how would you steal baby clothes?
I was in the wheelchair, so I was steal from Walmart.
Where would your mother be when you did this?
She will have been in different aisles or at different sections of the store.
And was she aware of any of this?
No, sir.
At some point, you decided to kill your mother, is that correct?
Mm, yes.
When was that?
Thought of started a year prior to the murder actually happening.
Whose idea was it to kill your mother?
Mine.
Why did you want to kill your mother?
because I wanted to be free of her hold on me.
Did you and Nick ever talk about this?
Yes,
Who initially brought up to killing your mother?
I did.
Why not just tell somebody rather than kill your mother? Why was not an option? Se vio que leí.
I truly didn't believe that nobody would believe me if I told anyone. My mother had legal documents in place saying that I was incompetent, and I thought that meant that if I went to anyone to or told anyone, she would just have convinced them that I was making everything up.
At some point after you initially considered killing your mother, did you ever change your mind?
Yes.
You know when that was?
About 2 weeks before it happened.
When did you change your mind and decide not to kill her?
I start having doubts, second thoughts.
Did you ever then change your mind back to the initial decision to kill her?
Yes.
Why did you change your mind back to killing her?
My mother and I got into an argument 2 days prior to the murder occurring, and Nick asked me, "Are we still doing this? And am I still doing this? You know, coming there to do this?" Yes, no, and then I said yes.
Who talked you into killing your mother?
I did. I talked him into it.
During the time you and Nick were together, did you ever engage in fantasies or role playing or anything like that?
Yes.
Tell us about the names you utilized.
Ruby, Candy, Kitty, Bella, and Dimona.
Why did you ever have names alter egos?
I made them up because he told me that he had various alter egos, and so I create mine to fit the ones with his.
Who came up with your names?
I did.
Do they each represent a different type of person?
Yes,
Was it real?
it was fantasy.
Who is Demonia?
She's a character that I came up with.
What was the character?
She's half werewolf and half human.
Who's Kitty?
She's like a childlike girl.
And Ruby?
She's my evil side.
What about Ken?
She's more like a slutty side.
Did you also have wings?
Yes.
Why did you have wings?
To change different hair colors of the characters, and because I didn't have any hair at the time.
Why did you not have hair?
My mother would shave off my hair and tell people I had cancer.
Was any of this stuff not consensual on your part, the personalities?
No,
Now, you mentioned the idea to kill your mother come out about a year before it happened.
yes, sir.
And what was going on in your home life that made you reach the point where you did that or made that decision?
I was growing increasingly desperate to get out of my home life.
Did you tell Nick that?
Yes,
And what was your mom doing that caused you to be more desperate?
Things were getting physically and more physically abused. The hating was more, the starving was more.
Now, you mentioned you were in a wheelchair. Were you required to act in any certain way when you were in a wheelchair?
Yes, sir.
How was, how was that?
She would have me stay very quiet and pretend like I couldn't walk.
We are going to take a little break. I don't know if you can smell where you check out to see what it is. I want to again remind you of what you were told at the first recess of the court until you retire to consider your verdict. You must not discuss this case among yourself or with others, or permit anyone to discuss it in your hearing. You should not front or express. Do no any research or investigation on your own about any matter regarding this case or anyone involved in the trial. Do not communicate with others about the case by any means. Do not read, view, or listen to any newspaper, radio, electronic communication from the internet or television report of the trial. If you all go back to the jury room, please. We'll have to check it out. All right. I'm going to have you go over to the other room if you wish to speak with your attorney. Do you wish to speak with your attorney?
Okay.
If you do, let me know. I'm available. We'll take her over to our alternate room.
Yeah.